Production funding for Flying Squirrels Insider is made possible in part by
Clean water is one of our most valuable resources. Conserving it should be all of our responsibility. Remember every day to make every drop count. Wash full loads, take shorter showers, turn off your faucet. Water, use it wisely. Let's commit to conserve.
and by SciComm Technologies, celebrating 20 years in IT. SciComm is dedicated to helping customers stay on top of the tech wave, whatever comes next. Online at scicommtech.com. The Flying Squirrels have reached the All-Star break. Tyler Beatty, Christian Arroyo, and Ryder Jones all earned the nomination from Richmond. The Squirrels hit the break as one of the hottest teams in the league, having won 7 of the past 10 with a new-look squad. This week, we'll introduce you to the new and exciting members of the Squirrels cast, as well as evaluate where the team stands 90 games into the year. Also, find out what it takes to shoot yourself out of a cannon and check out Matt Gage's hot Camaro. It's another action-packed episode of FSI, and it starts now.
Text from Burnham, not going to make it, going with the team to Bowie, you're on your own. So that's how we're going to do this today. Post All-Star break, biggest show of the year up to this point. But he's not coming. Okay. I'm taking his chair. That's it. I'm taking his chair. I don't care. Go ahead, fire me. What are you going to do? Nobody else here to do the show. I got to do it. Go ahead, take the chair too. It's fine. Anybody else? You want my job? You want to call the game tonight? You want to do pre and post? You could do it. You do a better job than I ever could. Burnham's on easy street. He's got it made. But hey, it's all right. Let's do this. Come on. Welcome back to another episode of Flying Squirrels Insider. I'm your host, Greg Caserta. As you can see, Jay Burnham's not here. He's currently with the team in Bowie as they get ready for their first series following the All-Star break. Plenty to come on this episode. We'll take a look at the Squirrels pre- and post-All-Star break. We'll take a look at Matt Gage's ride, which you can see at the Diamond. And we'll also take a look at a real nut, somebody who likes to fly, Dave the Bullet Smith. He also likes to go nuts, so we'll get into that in a little bit. A reminder, as always, that Utility Buddy from the City of Richmond Department of Public Utilities makes us aware of Richmond's natural gas safety program. The smell of natural gas is a pungent odor like rotten eggs. If there's a strong rotten egg odor, leave the area, go where the smell is no longer present, and call 911. Also, scratch off to win free Flying Squirrels stuff. Text FSI to 63975. Mobile marketing services provided by Opt-in Technologies. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase necessary. So as promised, we get into the Flying Squirrels pre-All-Star break and post-All-Star break. And the last time that Jay and I were here, we were looking at that 14-game stretch leading into the break, and we thought, uh-oh, because the Squirrels had to face Akron, Trenton for 2 series, and Reading, the team with the best record in all of baseball. So what do? They give you some hope, which is why here today we're in a little bit of a better mood. They wound up going 9-5 in that 14-game stretch. Now, they haven't exactly played themselves back into playoff contention yet, because if you look at the current standings, the Squirrels are 36-53. They're 13 games back of a playoff spot with 53 games remaining. But the fact is they're playing much better baseball. And that's why this upcoming stretch for them leading into August, very important. They have 18 straight games without a day off. 14 of those games are against teams that they're currently trailing in the Western Division. So we obviously have a lot to discuss in that regard. Before we get into everything going on, have to say congratulations one more time to the 3 All-Stars, Christian Arroyo, Tyler Beatty, and Ryder Jones. The 3 of them represented the Western Division team at the All-Star game in Akron. And here's what I'll say about the 3 All-Stars. Beatty's been a consummate professional. I think he's very close to going up to AAA, and I'd imagine he'd be there sooner rather than later. His last start at home against the Phils, it was the first time that he didn't go 5 or more innings in any of his starts this season. Fastball command was a focus for him coming into the year, and he's certainly done that with only 25 walks in a little more than 91 innings. As for Arroyo, he's been a model of consistency. Coming into his age 21 season, he's only hit 2 home runs, but he's given you 25 doubles. And so I think that The power is starting to come through a little bit more. Defensively, he's been great at third base, and I look at a couple of plays that he made in that Trenton series at the end of June, making diving stops down the line. And with C.J. Hinojosa now in the picture, Arroyo's going to be platooning more on the left side of the infield. As for Ryder Jones, he's got 9 home runs. That's a career high for him. He competed in the home run derby and very much deserving of his first midseason All-Star selection. So now that we've said all that, somebody recently asked me about minor league baseball and how players are constantly moving, how the team that you start with often looks nothing like the team that you finish with. And I think for the Giants, it's been a good thing because if you look at all the players that have already been called up to AAA this season, Yohan Gregorio, Adalberto Mejia, 2 of your top 3 starters, but it's given Dan Slania an opportunity in the rotation. Sam Coonrod, Andrew Suarez called up from San Jose. They've also filled in at the back of the rotation. And then Tyler Rogers, of course, who we've talked quite a bit about on this program. Rogers now pitching in AAA, and now we're going to see what happens at the back of the bullpen with Rodolfo Martinez and Ray Black. Austin Slater played himself right out of here, and now he is playing in AAA just 2 years removed from being drafted out of Stanford. So I think it's very encouraging, but it's also created opportunities for position players coming up from San Jose. Let's start with Brandon Bednar. He's the oldest of the bunch. I like to call them the 4 horsemen. A 7th-round pick in 2013 out of Florida Gulf Coast. And the immediate comparisons that you see with Bednar are to Matt Duffy. He's got a very simple approach at the plate, and he's already hitting and showing some timely hitting at that while playing a very good defensive second base. C.J. Hinojosa has as good a footwork as anybody I've seen playing shortstop. He will now split time with Christian Arroyo on the left side, but in terms of his defense, he's been as good, if not better, than advertised. Steven Duggar, a lefty bat who can play center field. He's got great speed, and he's a good route runner. I think for Steven, the key is to just simplify things at the plate. He's been working hard with the coaches, and I think he's in a spot right now similar to that of Hunter Cole in that he's putting good at-bats together. He just hasn't been able to find those holes. Finally, the most impressive of the bunch, and really to nobody's surprise, the first-round pick out of Boston College last year, Chris Shaw, who's hitting for power and even hit his first career triple just recently against Trenton. His glove at first has been good from what we've seen, and he's come up with some timely hits, helping the Squirrels, along with the 3 others, to this 9-5 stretch over the last 14. Also, you have to look at several Squirrels who have made their major league debuts this year. You look at Joe Biagini, who's no longer with the Giants organization. He's been playing with Toronto. Derek Law, Stephen Okert, and Chris Stratton have all received call-ups from San Francisco, and they've been providing help in the bullpen, which is something that the Giants are going to look to address at the trading deadline. They have the best record in baseball, but they're still looking to shore up the back end of their bullpen. As for the Squirrels and what we should expect down the stretch, my bold prediction is that they take their momentum and that they carry it with them for the remainder of the season. They need to win within their division. I mentioned that stretch of 14 straight games against teams within the West, teams that they're currently trailing right now in the standings. And for the second straight year, I'm predicting that final 4-game series against Altoona is going to ultimately decide whether the Squirrels make the postseason. Last year it didn't happen. This year, I'm going out on a limb. I'm saying the Squirrels are going to wrap up that final spot in the West. So with that said, one wild night at the Diamond where Dave the Bullet Smith launched himself out of a cannon. I know everybody was very excited about it because several rainouts postponed that promotion, but we finally got a chance to watch it, and it was something really special. We'll also hear from Wes McElroy, our very own Wes, caught up with Squirrels first baseman Chris Shaw. That's coming up next on Flying Squirrels Insider.
Dave, how did you actually begin shooting yourself out of a cannon?
Well, I'm a second-generation human cannonball.
So it's in the family?
Yeah, I watched my dad get shot out of cannons since I was a little boy. And so it's what we did. It was normal. My dad traveled around with all of us kids, just like I do with my kids now, and blast ourselves out of cannons for viewing pleasure.
Where were you when you first succeeded in shooting yourself out of a cannon?
I did a practice shot in the front yard in Oregon when I was 17. And then at 19 years old, I got a phone call from my dad. Said, son, I hurt my back. I need you in Wisconsin the day after tomorrow for a show.
You're coming up to the big
And
leagues.
coming up to the big leagues, and that's what he did. So Wednesday in Madison, Wisconsin, I shot out of a cannon for the first time.
And you've been doing it ever since. So tell me about this piece of equipment that you say it's custom built.
Yeah, these are handcrafted. These are my father, my brother, and myself.
You just can't go on eBay and say, hey, I need a human cannon. Can I
don't
shoot
know.
myself out? Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know, it depends on what you give me for it. I'll
So
send you
this,
one.
so this is wood. The
This
chamber is wood.
Well, what you see out here, it's a kind of a vapor barrier and protective wrap. It's fiberglass. My dad carved this or made this, molded it out of wood.
Okay.
And it's actually beautiful underneath the paint. I hated to paint it, you know. But inside's all steel, aluminum, secret pieces and stuff like that. And this is a control room in here. This is where there's actually somebody inside of here firing the cannon and operating it, raising the barrels, loading it. When I go down in there, I hustle. I get down there. I don't like to be in there any longer than I have to.
You go through the front here.
It's a muzzle loader, yeah. It's, you know, that's a...
Like an old musket.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
It stuffed me down in there. And, how I normally run the show is I hop up on top and I can really know and spot my landing and give myself a little heads up. It's not that often that I do this in a rush,
Right.
like we do
Here?
Yeah, in a baseball setting where nothing's preset, where you throw it up as fast as you can. I make sure it's safe, but it's pretty often that this is not dead on. But I know where I'm gonna land and I can kind of look at it and go, okay, that's forgivable.
When you go to the net, like how are you trying to land, I guess? What?
Yeah, I have to land, basically, there's one way to land. I mean, there is. And
In the
it's-
net, that's
and
the
it's
one way.
exact, yeah. By the time I come out of the cannon, I'm like, okay, I start doing a little bit of flapping or whatever I have to do to straighten up and fly right kind of deal. And then at the top, I'm looking down at the net, way down there. I'm up 70 feet on average. And then the scary part's to take your eyes off that bad boy down there and start doing a somersault. I dive into it like this, and then right at the last second,
Man.
I flip over and I sit into it and throw my weight back and try to get everything
So then you
so
just
that
you
it's
stick almost,
so that it's
right?
comfy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that my weight, so that I can handle the force in a strong physical position. There's an operator inside of here, and my signal I just give him one of those, and that means I'm ready to walk up the cannon, and it starts going up, and I do my little walk up this thing, and then wait for it to get up to position, and then I'll sit on the end and try to stay still for a second and let them get all the angles dead on without me shaking around on the end. And then I'll go down in, come down inside all the way to the back of this bad boy, more or less, and wait for countdown. Safety's off.
So how many times have you accomplished this?
I figure that I've done about 7,000 shows in my life. 7,000 shots out.
So this might be a dumb question,
What's
but
that?
what actually propels you out of the cannon? Is that a secret?
That is the family secret. We don't tell anybody how we do that. If we do that, we have to shoot you out. So.
3, 2, 1!
Welcome back to Flying Squirrels Insider, a special edition today as we come to you from a very special place inside the Diamond, Harney's Pub. Wes McElroy along with newest Flying Squirrel Chris Shaw, the 2015 first-round draft pick of the San Francisco Giants, hailing from Massachusetts, correct?
Yep,
Right.
Lexington, Massachusetts.
Red Sox fan, right?
I grew up a Red Sox fan, yeah. Giants fan now, though.
So you were born, what, 93? Do I have that right?
Yes, yep.
So you were like, what, 10 or 11 when the Curse of the Bambino ended?
Yeah, I think I was in 4th grade, because I remember I had like this thing called before school sports where we'd go to my elementary school, all my buddies, and our gym teacher would run it, and I remember going and celebrating with all my friends the next day after they won it in before school sports, so it's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool to have an early sports memory. And
Exactly.
And then you kind of got spoiled as a kid, seeing 3 World Series titles.
Yeah, that and, the Patriots, Bruins, Celtics. It was pretty good growing up in Boston when I was.
Pretty good to be a
Yeah.
fan. Pretty good to be a Giants fan, and great to have you in this organization.
Yep.
We just got done the Major League Baseball draft, and you were the first-round pick of the Giants in 2015. What do you remember about the process?
It was pretty stressful. You know, the months leading up to it, there's a lot of paperwork that need to be done, and you know, scouts coming to all your games and whatnot. And you know, just that week in particular leading up to the draft, I remember it was one of the toughest weeks of my life, just because there's so much uncertainty with everything. But you know, once I saw my name come across the board that night, it was the greatest feeling I've had in my life to that point, and you know, it kind of put everything in perspective that I went through. So it was awesome.
We talk about this more with the NFL and the NBA draft, but what pressure comes, or what pressure did you feel that comes with being a first-round draft pick by an organization?
You know, I actually didn't feel a ton. I don't like to really put pressure on myself, because at the end of the day, when you're going out and playing, you're just doing the same thing you've done your entire life, and that's playing the game of baseball. So I still go out, I play every pitch like it's a normal game, and just kind of play the game how I have my entire life. You
seem like a pretty laid-back guy.
Yeah, I like to think of myself as such.
What has this year been like, though, through the whole process, then being picked, and then trying to work your way up, and now you're here at AA? Mm-hmm. Has it been the quickest year of your life, or has it been a long learning experience?
Yeah, I mean, just talking to some of the guys, I was talking to Steven Duggar last night who came up with me, and we were just saying how quickly, being in San Jose went by for us. Thinking back that, the fact we were there for 3 months almost is mind-blowing, and to be in AA already, it's been pretty cool. But yeah, the year has really flown by.
You went to Boston College, and just to go back to the draft, Major League Baseball draft, for those who do not know, you can either go out of high school or you can go after 3 years in college. What do you think having partial college experience or having a full college experience done for you now as you're entering the minor leagues?
Just the maturity that I think comes with being away at school for 3 years on your own. I was drafted out of high school, and that was a major factor in not signing, was that my maturity level just wasn't there to go live on my own and kind of start to become an adult. So I think those 3 years in college really allowed me to do that, and I couldn't be happier with my decision.
Okay, you are here in AA. You are with the Richmond Flying Squirrels. You've got a couple games under your belt here at the Diamond. First impressions of being a Flying Squirrel. First of all, what was your reaction to finding out that you're going to be something called a Flying Squirrel?
Well, just to be able to come to AA, I was pumped.
Yeah.
Just an awesome opportunity, and the name Flying Squirrels is pretty funny, I think, but I think 80% of minor league baseball teams are pretty funny names. But yeah, it's great being here.
What's the big adjustment? I'm sure you have talked to guys at AA, you've talked to guys through the Giants system. What are you anticipating? What have you already found out are some of the bigger adjustments?
I think the biggest thing is just guys here can throw any pitch in any count for a strike and command it. In high A, you'd see some pretty good arms, but you'd get the occasional ball thrown by your head just because I didn't know where it was going. But it's kind of nice to come here and have guys be more around the plate. It makes hitting a lot more relaxed, and but it's nice.
It's all part of a learning experience in minor league baseball. So I'm always curious, off the field, away, even if we want to go back to spring training, who are some of the guys that you've picked their brain, you've talked to them, you wanted to hear stories and find out a little bit more from?
I mean, just any older guy really that I've played with. Here, Hunter Cole's been good with stuff like that about living situations in Richmond and whatnot. Back in San Jose, guys like Ty Ross, and we had Sergio Romo come down and rehab with us for a while, and he was unbelievable. Just very insightful with trying to put the whole minor league experience in perspective for us. And it's always nice to talk to guys that have been there and have had success and have moved on to the highest level, and they can kind of relate to what you're going through.
I'm going to give you a hard question here, since we're talking about speaking and engagements. We're sitting here at this fine establishment called Parney's Pub.
Yep.
If I let you in here, one bar stool for you,
yep.
One bar stool for any Major League Baseball player, dead or alive, who would you want to have a conversation with? Who would you love to pick their brain?
No-brainer, Ted Williams.
Ted Williams.
Yeah, no-brainer.
Not shocking from a Red Sox fan, but why Ted? Out of all the Red Sox, why Ted Williams?
He just had such a, unbelievable feel for hitting, the mental side of it, too. And it's somebody I just want to pick his brain and, have a conversation with.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can see Chris Shaw at the Diamond as a Richmond Flying Squirrel. The Boston College Eagle, the Red Sox fan, now part of the Giants organization's last year's first-round pick. Great meeting you. Great talking with you.
Thank you.
Welcome to the area. You will love it. You will love these fans playing here in Richmond. When we come back, much more of Flying Squirrels Insider.
Oh, it's on me now? See, you threw my timing off. Great job by Wes and Chris Shaw. Appreciate the new Squirrel joining us. He's off to a great start, and so are we on Flying Squirrels Insider. We've got plenty more to come. Burnham's not here. He's grabbing his Burnham's Morning Brew with Matt Reynolds, and after that, we'll take a look at what goes on behind brunch and baseball at the Diamond. Our very own Chaz Carroll. We'll take a look at that when we come back on FSI.
You were in spring training this year with the Arizona Diamondbacks. What happened?
I don't know. It was a weird injury. My scap was like rolling over my top rib.
Your what?
My rib, my scapula, like bone on bone. I went into a game to pitch and it was really painful. Like felt kind of like a stabbing every time I'd get to a loaded position. I haven't had an issue with it since then. And then basically I threw a couple days, threw a bullpen, and then they released me the next day.
Favorite big league city to travel to?
The best is San Francisco. The Bay Area fans are intense. So at first I was like, man, I don't like this place at all. But then like the more I got pitching there, the more it was like, hey, this is kind of fun. The fans are into it. They're on you. They're into the game.
How did you get notified that you were going to the big leagues?
We left the ballpark, and as we were leaving, the manager was like, hey, make sure you have your phone on you. It's like, okay, that was kind of weird. So I called my dad. I was like, I think I might be getting called up. He's like, yeah, I've been reading stuff online all day.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's like, oh, all right.
The first thing you did when you joined the Squirrels was look at the roster to see if you were the oldest guy on the team.
And I was, yeah. And
Beat out Steve LaRue.
yeah, of course he was thrilled when I got here because he was no longer the old guy anymore.
Hi, my name is Chaz Carroll here with the Richmond Flying Squirrels Insider, out here right in front of the team store. Back when the Richmond Braves were here, this team store used to actually be a restaurant here at the Diamond. But what you might not know is that the kitchen from the old restaurant is still here. We're going to take a look at it for Sunday brunch.
Right now, you know, brunch is a huge popular culture in Richmond itself, so I mean, I feel like it's just a good marriage between baseball and Richmond, the city itself.
What are the different things that you guys have on your brunch menu?
We try to pair some different southern items together, you know, our version of a chicken and waffles, and you can't go wrong without a southern brunch with sausage gravy, so throwing sausage gravy on there to kind of add the Squirrels twist to that item. You know, we're doing a pancake wrapped sausage. We have our signature messy bowl, which is tater tots, eggs, bacon, a little bit more sausage gravy. So you know, hitting all the brunch items, the breakfast items there. So in one little bowl. So it's been really cool.
Very cool.
Hi, Flying Squirrels fans. I'm radio broadcaster Greg Caserta. I'm here with Dr. Eugene Park. He's a urologist with the Madarva Physicians Network. And you know the big guy on the far right, Todd Parney-Parnell. We're here inside the Flying Squirrels clubhouse on a day where the team's out of town. So we have free reign here. And Dr. Park, we're here to talk about the importance of hydration. We're getting to the point now, we're getting deep into the summer. Very important to stay hydrated. Parney's got the water right now.
This is water, everybody. This is water.
Well, it's absolutely important. It affects you in so many different ways, and it's so easy to be dehydrated. So I always stress people, you got to start hydrating first thing in the morning. You can't make it up and drink a gallon at nighttime. So when people wake up in the morning, they've gone all night without going to sleep, without drinking at night. They wake up and they're relatively dehydrated. We're all busy. We reach for that cup of coffee. We're trying to reach for a stimulant, and that just helps us stay dehydrated. We actually need the water to flush it through our system.
Feeling lightheaded is one of the telltale signs. Are there other cues that you can pick up throughout the day where you go, okay, time for me to finally start drinking some water?
So feeling lightheaded is actually a late stage of dehydration. You actually can't compensate anymore. And the way you compensate, your blood vessels tighten up, your heart rate increases, and then when those things stop working, then you start feeling lightheaded. And that's really kind of third stage there. We want you to try to be intentional because people can compensate and they can function, they may not notice the signs right away. But if you're well hydrated, your heart rate's slow, you're relaxed, those kind of things. If you're dehydrated, you're gonna notice your heart rate's beating faster. You're gonna notice that you're you probably won't notice until you hit that third stage. And we don't want you to get to that third stage. We want you to be intentional and drink, like I said, sips all day, staying hydrated. It's not about compensating. Like you can't drink like 200 sips of water at nighttime and make up for it. You need to be constantly carrying water around, staying hydrated, being intentional.
I've actually had 3 kidney stones in a matter of about 11 months. And it is by far, folks, by far, the worst pain I've ever been in my life. And it's really simple. Just drink water. And Dr. Park convinced me that not only was that a problem, but I also was a tobacco user. Because I work at a baseball park, I felt like I needed a dip. And he convinced me to stop that as well. And it's been 2 major changes in my life that's actually got me back to being I'm still medium fat, but for my age, I just turned 50, I'm fairly healthy, and I focus on my health.
And you haven't had a kidney stone problem since.
And if I have a kidney stone, I know I'm coming to, because you told me I wouldn't have any anymore.
What's the latest you've spent catching Pokemon in the city of Richmond?
Was like how much time?
No, I'm saying, like, have you stayed out late? Yeah. You stayed out late doing this?
11.
I don't know, man. It's a craze. Everybody's doing it. FSI in the books, another episode come and gone. One final thing. We take a look at Matt Gage's Camaro, and that's how we end on Flying Squirrels Insider. So you think I should download it?
Yeah, definitely.
What are you driving here?
This is a 2014 Chevy Camaro convertible. Signed by the Giants, and I had a Ford Focus, little tiny 2-door. I was like, I gotta treat myself to something. Instead of Bose sound system, I went with Boston Premium Acoustics.
How does it handle in those New York winters?
It's in the garage. That's how it handles it.
Does the Ford Focus come back out?
No, we sold it. Okay. We got rid of that thing a long time ago.
Straight up honest with me. What's the fastest you've driven in this car?
To be honest, very fast.
Okay.
I can't really put a number on it. Yeah.
So I would think one of the drawbacks would be not enough trunk space, but it looks like you've got enough room for what's important to you, especially the golf clubs, right?
The golf clubs, and even enough space for, some cleats.
And these are custom made, huh?
Yeah.
What size shoe are we talking about?
Those are 14s in that company.
So
I wear a 16, but those are 14s.
Okay.
They run a little big.
Very attractive looking. I'm sure the ladies would enjoy riding in it as well.
Yes, my fiance does.
Yeah. When's the wedding, by the way?
November 26th. She'd be mad if I didn't remember that.
Are you going to drive this away from the ceremony? I know it's going to be close to winter, but put the Just Married tails on the back.
It's my wedding day. I might not be able to drive.
We won't include that part.
Production funding for Flying Squirrels Insider is made possible in part by
Smell gas? Act fast. Don't just stand there. Leave the area. Get out. Go where the smell is no longer present and call 911. Making you aware, keeping you safe. We're Richmond's Natural Gas Safety Awareness Program.
and by SciComm Technologies, celebrating 20 years in IT. SciComm is dedicated to helping customers stay on top of the tech wave, whatever comes next. Online at scicommtech.com.